WNBA did no favors for the Fever in setting up the 2024 schedule. Through the first 3 weeks, they've already had just a single day off between any of their 11 games. So it's hard to get any real work done when all you do is play, travel, repeat. But this past weekend,
I feel like I'm just at the point where you accept it and don't retaliate. Like, just let them hit you, be what it is. Don't let it get inside your head. And know it's coming. I think at this point, I know I'm going to take...
Diamond Deshields probably thought the moment would just pass. Kennedy Carter likely believed the same thing. But people around the league say something much bigger might be happening behind the scenes. According to insiders, some WNBA owners have quietly created what people are calling a do-not-sign situation. And if your name ends up connected to that kind of reputation, your opportunities in the league can disappear fast. Not a suspension, not a fine. Something much quieter than that. No press release, no official explanation. Just doors that suddenly stop opening, whether people believe it or not. The pattern is right there for everyone to see. And once you start putting the pieces together, the situation raises a lot of questions. Think back to the game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. The clock was running down. Caitlin Clark was cutting through the lane at full speed when Diamond Deshields moved into her path. And the two collided hard. There wasn't much of a play on the ball, and the contact immediately drew attention. The referees blew the whistle and ruled it a common foul. Play moved on. But inside the arena, the reaction was strong because many fans felt the hit looked more intentional than accidental. Deshields briefly reached out toward Clark after the play. But by that point the crowd had already made up its mind about what they thought they saw. Within hours, the replay was everywhere online. Social media ran the clip over and over again. And millions of people watched those few seconds on a loop for Deshields. It might have seemed like just another moment in a physical game, but the reaction around the league suggested something bigger was brewing. The reality is that the WNBA landscape has changed dramatically in recent years. The stakes are higher, the attention is larger, and the financial side of the league has become far more important than it used to be. Because of that shift, moments involving the league's biggest star now carry a lot more weight than they once did. After the clip went viral, fans flooded social media with reactions. Sponsors reportedly started asking questions. Front office executives across the league were discussing the situation privately. Not in press conferences, not in public statements, but in conversations behind the scenes. The message being passed around was simple. Teams didn't want unnecessary controversy. That's where the idea of a do-not-sign reputation starts to come into the conversation. It's not something written down anywhere. There's no official document. But sometimes the pattern becomes noticeable when a player with experience and talent suddenly struggles to find a roster spot. Deshields was eventually released by the Chicago Sky. That alone isn't unusual in professional sports. Teams make difficult roster decisions every season. Later, the New York Liberty gave her a chance, but she rarely saw meaningful minutes and mostly appeared in late-game situations. After that came another opportunity with the Connecticut Sun. She went through preseason, practiced with the team, and made it all the way to the final roster decisions before being released again months later. She still hadn't landed with another franchise. For a player who had once been an all-star and still had plenty of experience, that raised some eyebrows around the basketball world. People close to several organizations suggested that public perception had become part of the discussion. Fans were vocal online, sponsors were paying attention, and teams were trying to avoid situations that might create unwanted headlines. That's how reputations can spread in professional sports even without anything official being announced. But Deshields isn't the first situation people point to when they talk about this pattern. To understand where the conversation really began, many fans go back to Kennedy Carter, June 1, 2024, Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever again. During a stoppage in play, Carter made contact with Caitlin Clark away from the ball. The bump sent Clark off balance and immediately drew attention from cameras and fans. The officials originally ruled it a common foul. Later, the league reviewed the play and upgraded it to a flagrant foul. After the game, reporters asked Carter about the moment. Her response was brief: "I ain't answering." No Caitlin Clark questions. Those 5 words spread quickly across sports media and social platforms for many executives around the league. The bigger concern wasn't just the play itself. It was the perception created afterward. Teams often place a high value on players who are willing to address situations publicly and move forward. When that doesn't happen, organizations sometimes worry about potential distractions. Carter already had a reputation for being a fiery competitor. But after that moment, her future in the WNBA became uncertain. Eventually, she continued her career overseas. Again, there was no official announcement explaining anything, just a quiet shift in where her opportunities existed. The conversation doesn't stop with players either. Some observers say it may extend into the media world as well. Sheryl Swoopes, a Hall of Fame player and longtime voice in women's basketball, became part of the discussion after making several public comments about Caitlin Clark. During interviews and broadcasts, Swoopes questioned aspects of Clark's record-breaking college career and sometimes discussed the Indiana Fever's improvement without directly mentioning Clark's role in it. Those comments drew strong reactions from analysts and fans alike. Stephen A. Smith challenged some of those points on national television. Nancy Lieberman also pushed back on certain claims during broadcasts. The debate quickly became a major topic across sports media before the 2025 season. The Dallas Wings removed Swoopes from their broadcast team. Later, she was no longer part of league broadcast coverage. There was no formal statement explaining the decision, but the timing caught the attention of many observers who were already watching how conversations around Clark were unfolding. When people step back and look at the bigger picture, they see several different situations connected to the same central storyline: on-court contact, media criticism, public reactions from fans. In each case, the outcomes looked similar: a sudden shift in opportunities and very little public explanation. To understand why Clark sits at the center of so much attention, you have to look at what her rival did for the league. Before she entered the WNBA, the league had been working for years to expand its audience and increase revenue. Clark's rookie season changed the conversation almost overnight. She broke dozens of records, including the single-season assist record with 337. She became the first rookie to record multiple triple-doubles. Her jersey quickly became one of the best-selling items in the league. Fans who had never watched WNBA basketball before suddenly started tuning in. Indiana Fever road games were drawing huge crowds in arenas across the country. Television networks that previously paid little attention to the league were now competing for broadcast rights. Sponsors increased their involvement, and the overall visibility of the WNBA jumped dramatically for league leadership. That kind of growth matters far beyond a single season. As the next collective bargaining agreement approaches, players in the league will negotiate issues like salaries and revenue sharing. Stronger ratings, sponsorships, and attendance numbers give the league more leverage in those conversations. That's why protecting the momentum around its most visible star becomes a major priority. When controversies surround that player, it can affect the broader business picture. Looking back over the past year, several careers experienced major shifts. Around the same time, Diamond DeShields moved from team to team without securing a permanent spot. Kennedy Carter continued her career overseas after her WNBA opportunities faded. Sheryl Swoopes stepped away from league broadcasting roles. None of those changes came with lengthy explanations. Just quiet decisions and the sense that the league was moving in a particular direction, whether someone calls it a list, a reputation issue, or simply the reality of professional sports. One thing is clear: the WNBA is evolving quickly. The business side of the league is bigger than it has ever been, and that changes how organizations respond to controversy. For decades, the league searched for a player who could bring new audiences into women's basketball. Many believe Caitlin Clark became that player. And when a league finally finds someone who drives ratings, fills arenas, and attracts sponsors, protecting that momentum becomes part of the strategy. The culture around the WNBA is shifting as a result. Moments that might have once faded away now become national conversations. Players, media members, and teams are all adjusting to that new reality, whether people agree with how those situations are handled or not. The message many observers see is simple: the league has chosen the direction it wants to move in, and everyone involved now understands how high the stakes have become. If this story made you think about the situation differently, share it with someone else who follows the league. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown as the WNBA continues to evolve.